PhD, and you're listening to the TyePod. Well, hi, everybody. It's another episode of the TyePod, and I'm joined by Andy Rusch today, who is a writer and has experience living with Becker muscular dystrophy. And I know there's some other projects that we're going to talk about. Kind of excited to ask you about your publishing efforts, too, that are coming up. So sure happy to have you join in and looking forward to talking with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, definitely. First off, I kind of wanted to ask about if you have a theme song that you connect to or that sort of maybe symbolizes part of your life or experience, with MD or anything.
Sure. So for me, I'm really big into like punk kind of music. So I would say probably Rancid has a song called Fall Back Down. It's common with Becker to fall. So I tend to approach things with humor a lot.
That's good. Yeah, I totally feel that.
Yeah, so I think that one really, I like that one. It just feels, optimistic, but
Yeah.
when you fall down, it happens.
Is that one that you connected to when you were younger, you feel like, or is it more of a recent find?
A little bit of both. I was
Yeah.
really into like the emo scene back in the day. So
Yeah.
so
Nice. I respect
a little bit of both.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I relate to you too with the MD thing. I know that gradually there are falls that kind of continue to happen and everything. It have those been more and more frequent, or what has your experience been like kind of with the symptoms as you've, gotten older?
So I'm actually on a trial. So I think that trial has really helped. It's double blind, so I'm not sure if I'm on the med quite yet or not, but I feel good. So there's a fair chance.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
fallen in quite a while, knock on wood. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's going to help some.
Yeah, for sure.
What has that been like being on the trial? Like, do you feel, has it been a good experience? Have they been transparent with everything?
Yeah, so I joined it, let's see, last August.
Uh,
So I'll be coming up on a 12-month visit soon. Um, but yeah, they've been great. They pay for pretty much everything. Don't
yeah.
have to worry about anything. They cover all like the medical tests and all that stuff. So
Any like side effects or anxieties kind of on your part? Like, was it like a big process kind of going into it, or did you feel like it was okay to
yeah,
start?
so they actually pay for my partner Sarah to go with me. So I think
Okay.
she's been a huge help with like just working through those anxieties. But it just seemed like a no-brainer to try it.
Yeah.
The only thing that I really noticed was I had some headaches when I first started it,
Mhm.
which they said I could expect. But after like a week or two, it went away. So
Yeah.
it's been okay.
Yeah, well, that's really good. I know that's there's been one in the news. It's kind of the hot
Yeah,
topic item. So I know that all the clinical trials are different, and the medications are different side effects as well. So I know that you kind of have to combine everything going into it to try to have a well-rounded idea.
yeah,
But no, that's really good to hear though that it's hasn't been too much of a setback, and maybe
no,
it's providing some help too. Yeah.
yeah. And I fly out to Denver, so can't really complain.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
travel
And
just a little bit, even
I
if
know you're Central Time. Which state are you living in?
so I live in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Okay, nice. So
Yeah,
have you been to Denver at all before, or is that where the trial
I
started?
I had been there one time before.
Okay.
I think the company is based out of Boulder, so
Okay, nice,
close to
nice. That's a good area. I lived in New Mexico for 30 something years, and
there.
I've been to Colorado several different times. So it's a nice place to
Yeah,
go
it's
visit for sure.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's great. And you said that your partner goes with you. I'm curious what your support system is like, and has it evolved over the years? Have you always had a really like good foundation on that, or what does that look like for you?
I think so. My family is a little bit rockier, but I think
Mhm.
we try like any family.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, Sarah's been amazing and really supportive. I know when we met, she wasn't really um, exposed much to people with
mm,
disabilities, so I think
mhm.
rightly so. She really questioned like if she wanted to get into that, and I tell her all the time like I appreciate her being honest about it.
Yeah,
And now she just is super proud to be next to me and supports me with the trial and just anything
yeah.
that I need help with.
Yeah, that's really great because I know that the whole inter-abled relationship and there's a stigma with disability, and everything. And so that's really cool to hear that, she came into it maybe not knowing so much and then like became more knowledgeable and aware of all the
Yeah,
the details. And I mean that kind of honesty I think is really good. Like, we don't expect everyone to know everything about disability or how to handle it or, but if they're willing to be open and learn, I think that's such a big step in the right direction.
right. And like you said, like it's such a spectrum with each and every disability that
Right.
no way you could know all of it.
Right. And to be honest, all of us are going to have something probably at some point. So I mean, maybe it's getting into it in your 30s instead of your 70s,
Right.
but yeah, That's cool. So, as far as your experience, like in public with MD and everything, like, do you have kind of ableism stories, or have you come into contact with people that were really like doubting? Any specific things come to mind?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm pretty mobile
Yeah.
as far as that goes. I don't really use a lot of aids. I have some like hiking sticks that I use if
Mhm.
we go out just on like a trail or something. But the biggest, I think, challenge for me has been accepting, help from other people and like
Mhm.
accepting that like I just recently got like a parking placard.
Okay.
And so I'm getting more comfortable like using that in public. And like when people see me get out, they're like, you know,
You feel like you get like
fine.
the judgment stares kind of as you
Right.
get out. Yep.
Yeah. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I've
Yeah.
faced recently. But just like I can't do stairs very well.
Yeah.
So I try
Yeah.
to avoid those. So I think just having that support system around me with like friends too is really
Right.
helpful to accept it all.
Yeah, yeah, that self-acceptance is kind of a lifelong journey, it seems like to me, and maybe you think you finally get it, but then there's something that kind of reminds you and you're like, oh wait, no, I
Yeah.
don't quite like this. But
Right.
but no, you're right, like learning to ask, more people for help is a big thing. And then like dealing with kind of that ableistic just
Right.
thing that people are ingrained with, is a challenge. And I know that like with MD, obviously there's a spectrum too, right? Like it's
For sure.
people don't really have any idea what's really going on or how persistent the symptoms or disabilities are or whatever. So it's kind of that judging a book by its cover, so to
Right.
speak, before they really know. So I don't know that that's ever going to have a fix really,
Right.
but yeah, like it do you I don't know, do you try to kind of spread awareness to people through any means? I know social media, obviously, you probably, share some things there, but like, have you found maybe that some people around you are growing or learning more, or is it just kind of staying status quo?
So I think, my new in-laws have been really a good example of that because they, I don't think, have been around somebody quite like me, which
Yeah.
fair. They've just, I've had to work on really just opening up to them and just being like, this is something I can't do, or this is
Mhm.
something I can do, or what can I do? And they've been really instrumental in just helping figure that out with me.
Yeah.
And they've just made a really cool environment for me to learn how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good to have people like that that are again like your wife, it sounds like
Right.
they're open and understanding with everything. And
Mhm.
but so as far as mobility aids, are you looking at having something like that in the future, or like has it been a progression that's been very slow for you so far?
Yeah, so it's been pretty slow. I
Yeah.
think, I think eventually I might need a cane at
Yeah.
some point or, maybe a wheelchair, but I think we just cross that bridge when we get there and just be okay
Kind
with
of
it.
adapt when you're forced to, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many stories where, people say they struggle to use like an aid until they do it and then they're like, this is so much better. So
Right,
I'm like
right.
trying to keep that in mind when that time would come.
I totally get there's such a resistance to that just in general too. I think, that you're somehow less by needing support from
Right.
whatever technology. Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the life though, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, well, I'd like to definitely get into a little more of your like hobbies or passion projects that you're kind of working on. Like, is there anything in particular you want to like share about or
Yeah, we could just jump right in. So I'm
yeah.
I'm a writer. I like to write. I'm a musician, so I do that too. I
Mhm.
recently started a publishing company that I'm pretty excited about, and just trying to grow that. In the meantime,
Yeah.
my day job.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So the publishing thing, how did that even like get started in your mind, and like what's that process been like?
Yeah, so I've been writing for a while. I did write a column for MD News today for
Okay.
a while, and I had to step away from it for personal things, and that kind of started where I started writing more professionally. And so I started writing some stories. I'm a very creative storyteller.
Mhm.
And I was like, I think this is good enough to maybe publish.
Yeah.
So I started researching like the publishing process and how difficult it can be for some people. And I started exploring self-publishing and that kind of led me down just learning how this whole process works. And I was like, if I'm going to do this for me, I can also help other people that maybe don't want to do this side of it. And
Yeah.
so for me, it was a way to not only amplify those voices that I think are missing, but also just creating community, I think is important to me too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
kids.
That's a huge deal, I think, for our community because we do have so many of us that are creative that we write poetry books, anything like that. And even during grad school, I submitted some articles, with other researchers, and I know what that publishing process was like. You work with another company and you have to constantly be sending more information, and it's sometimes the platform to upload your manuscripts or whatever is tricky. So I think that's big if there could be some disabled focus, in publishing like that. That would be kind of a game changer, I think. And I, I haven't seen that really anywhere. Have you come across any really disabled focused publishing companies at all?
So I live in Madison, which is
Yeah.
kind of a pretty progressive city in Wisconsin, and
Mm.
we have a lot of independent bookstores that have like a disabled section,
Okay.
disability studies, but it's so small. And I think there's a lot more stories that could be put out there.
Hmm.
I think, when I started this, my focus was definitely going to be like amplifying those voices and publishing books for people that want to write a book,
Hmm.
but also just supporting them, in their personal life and just building that community, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really great to hear. So had you had experiences with any other publishing agencies at any point?
There's a couple that I've reached out to and just,
Yeah.
having conversations with, just learning the process. But as far
Yeah.
as like actually publishing, no, this is, learning as we go kind of thing.
Right. Right.
But
No, sometimes that's the best way to go.
right.
Yeah.
And I think one of our main focuses is going to be like working with people with disabilities just to,
Mhm.
include everybody
Right.
and like,
Right.
editors and, cover designers, that kind of stuff.
Like kind of the top down almost, right? In the company having that involved. Yeah, that's really great. I think, there's areas like that. And I mean, I know that there's some of us in the community that are maybe chefs or artists or other things, maybe that there's not a whole lot of representation out there necessarily. And I think that, more of us doing that where we're amplifying, just different people and voices and everything, like whatever means we can do it, I think is going to make a difference. Even if it's slow, I think it will. Um, yeah, that's really cool. So the name behind your publishing company, I've been curious. I know we probably spoke a little bit about that, but if you wanted to share kind of the
Sure.
inspiration for that and what connections you have.
Yeah, so we called it MorganWolf Press, and my 19-year-old puppy just recently passed away.
Mm,
I was trying to think of a way to honor him, and I was like, why not just start this, and it's just going to be a permanent thing. So
yeah.
that was where the wolf came from. He's like a little Pekingese Pomeranian,
Mm,
kind of wolf-like. And then Morgan is actually the first name of one of my dear friends that has just taught me how to live boldly and
yeah.
just be themselves. And
Yeah, that's great how you can, honor, I think, pets or people or, have those kind of connections that are embedded in what you're doing.
for sure.
But yeah, sorry to hear that. I know firsthand, how close we
Yeah.
can be to our pets and everything. And I have my little corgi's actually laying right outside the office door here. I try not to trigger her barking, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, 19 is pretty solid though. We did so many things with him. We traveled
yeah.
across the country. I think we went to Georgia like 2 years ago.
Oh, nice.
So he loved it.
That's
So we can't want for anything with that. So
Yeah, yeah. No, it's enjoyable kind of taking them on all the, different outings and trips and everything. That's a big part of it, I think. And even though they couldn't physically be like the service dogs in a way, they still are, in different capacity.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Cool though. That's nice to know kind of where that name came from. I'm always into knowing kind of what's behind that. So
Yeah.
um yeah, and then as far as your like activism, if we could get into a little bit of that, like what has it been like, what was it like for you maybe when you were younger, and has it kind of grown or evolved now?
Yeah, I think it's grown a lot. So when I was a kid, I didn't really struggle much with things. Like gym class was tough because I just couldn't do nearly as much as other kids could do. But as I've gotten older, I'm noticing how much that community is important. And so I moved here about 3 or 4 years ago and
Hmm.
joined a disability rights group here, and just starting to connect with people. I
Nice.
had moved from a smaller community,
Yeah.
wasn't really that much of an opportunity to do that, so that's really opened up once it.
Yeah. Is that a organization or group that you can share some more about, or is it kind of
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
So it's called People First Wisconsin.
okay.
So we kind of just do activist stuff for like transportation, caregiving, that kind of stuff. We do
Hmm.
events. We hosted like a birding accessible birding event a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
Made bird nerd, so
I
so,
get that. Yeah. Yeah.
so just
Being in
trying
Tennessee now, I'm always looking at the, the birds out here, and there's quite a bit. So yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. So you're like that, the group's involved in like specific activism events too, and
yeah,
yeah,
it's fairly new too, so we're still trying to build
yeah.
getting people involved and
But
just
what was it like when you got there from your previous, like where you lived? Like was it? I bet that was really a cool feeling, kind of seeing, like
yeah.
in-person things. Maybe I mean, obviously, COVID might have impacted that too, but but that's a whole different issue.
Right. Yeah, I think, just meeting new people and just connecting and seeing like, what is important to you because it's different from what is important to me. And so
Mhm.
just meeting in the middle to figure out how we can make it better in the community.
Yeah. Any specific like stories that have happened with that really stand out, like as far as I don't know, any events or
Just the birding thing.
yeah,
We did an ice cream social last summer. That was really cool.
yeah.
Just inviting people to talk about, anything related
Yeah.
to disability and what they want to talk about.
Has birding been a thing for you for a while or?
Yeah, I actually got into it because I did nature photography for a while.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the bird thing just kind of stayed with it.
Yeah, that's really great. So have you like thought about doing photography again, or like
I
do you
think,
still have elements of it?
yeah, I think it's more of a hobby at this point. I don't do it
Yeah,
as much, but there's other adventures that I'm looking.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, hobbies that you can do occasionally just because you like it too is a good thing.
I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
tried doing something more professionally with it, and it's so hard. And then it became unfun. So I'm like, this isn't.
yeah. What are some of the things that kind of drove you away from it? Was it just
I think the photography market is just so saturated.
okay?
And then with technology, with phones and stuff, like it wasn't. You weren't seeing much of a difference between like the photos I would take with the good camera. So
Right.
this is fine.
And I'm guessing those were financially a little bit more expensive, probably too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, how much do I really want to?
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Sure.
Yeah. That's interesting though that I used to do some artwork with like birds and enter some of the like duck stamp contests. I had, some entries in that. And yeah, so birding, I definitely, I like a lot of that too. And just kind of the wildlife nature scene in general is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very cool.
Partner Sarah into it.
Yeah, you did.
We
Yeah.
first started dating, she's like, oh, that's cool. But now she's probably a
Uh,
bigger movie than I am.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
So
So she was kind of unsure at first. Once
right.
I think of it, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was fun.
yeah, very cool. Is there any other kind of hobbies or like things you do to kind of escape or get away when you need to? Anything like that?
Yeah. So I actually make music too on the side,
Yeah.
just more of a hobby thing. Me and my friend Brett in high school, we
Mhm.
would make music in the recording studio. We had a
Mhm.
studio at the high school, so why not? And yeah, we've been making music ever since.
Nice. Are you going the like kind of the punk like route or
I'd say it's more indie, I
okay?
guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a couple songs on Spotify. So just to give you an example, like we wrote a song about Dungeons and Dragons. Like we're
Nice.
so
I like that. I like that.
we just write whatever feels
I
good.
mean, lyrics can come from everywhere, right? Like you don't have to force yourself into the mainstream topics. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we wrote a song last year that came out and it's got like mandolin on it, just something completely different. We're just like, hey, it works.
Just kind of experimenting with it
Yeah,
and seeing. Yeah. Yeah.
sure.
So I guess you write the lyrics and put together all the instrument, like, and kind of
Yeah,
do the whole process. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of where my writing thing kind of started, is just writing lyrics, and
Oh,
then
okay.
just kind of evolved from that point.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that something that other family, like, or other people that you knew were kind of into, or was it something you just decided to try out?
I think it was a necessity thing. I think
Yeah.
when Brett and I started making music, he's like, I can't write lyrics. And I was like, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. Try it
We're
out.
pretty
Yeah.
good at it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I've done a little bit of just random kind of free form poetry stuff too. So it's kind of, writing, I think is kind of a way we can kind of channel some of the stuff
sure.
going on with things. Yeah, yeah. And then I know that you listed tattoos on your profile too. Is that
Yeah,
something that you're kind of big into? And like
yeah.
I'm
I have,
curious if there's one that I don't know, kind of your story behind
sure. So yeah, one of them is Emery, is the dog that just passed away. So
yeah.
I have two sleeves. One is kind of like a Legend of Zelda inspired
Oh, okay.
sleeve. So there's a lot of pulling from that game.
Yeah, yeah.
The other side is more like a music thing, so it has like a, I forget what it's called, but it's like a record player.
Okay, so you have like each arm's kind of its own theme or something or part of you that's
Right.
you're expressing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And do you design and draw out your own and then have
No, one of my friends actually owns a tattoo shop, so I
okay.
let him do his thing. I'm like,
There's
I
some
want
pretty
to be good
intricate
in
designs
it.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Zelda thing. So I gather you're kind of a gamer from over the years. That's
But
still kind of something you're involved with a lot too.
yeah, here and there. Like I'm not like I don't think call myself a gamer like some
Oh,
people.
full,
Like I
yeah,
play
full
like
scale.
and like that kind of stuff for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. That's I definitely have a little bit of that too, but I'm definitely not one of those that is like streaming on
Right.
Twitch or with sponsorships, all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
So yeah, yeah, very cool though. I'm not quite brave enough myself with the whole needle thing on
Yeah.
tattoos, but I'm
Yeah.
always curious.
That's what I tell people. Like they are not fun to get. It
Yeah,
looks like it based on my arms, but I hate getting
yeah, yeah. So
them.
it is a little bit painful then, probably.
Right. A little bit. It's not
Yeah,
bad, but
yeah,
it's uncomfy for sure.
yeah. Of course, thinking back on some of the medical appointments and needles and things like that, I guess it wouldn't be quite that bad probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I could do anything major on it. Maybe I could stand just a few seconds on a small one. I don't know. But no,
Yeah.
I really appreciate kind of the inspiration. And I've talked to others on the podcast that, have other tattoos that represent certain things. And I think it's really a cool expression, kind of individuality too, which is nice.
Yeah, I have some, like there's one for my dad who passed away in 2009, but I also
Mm.
have dumb ones. Like there's a tattoo of a hammerhead shark on my leg, and
Oh,
it's a
nice.
banner that says Thor on it. So it's like Thor's hammer. It's
Oh, nice,
just
nice.
a pun
That's a
tattoo.
good one.
Just fun
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like a deep reason or something behind it. Is
Right.
cool. Interesting wordplay though. I appreciate that. Yeah. Is that something? How did you come up with just
Uh,
randomly one day?
so the guy that I know was like, I want to do like a traditional style tattoo, and I was like, what about a shark? Because it's kind of a traditional thing that like sailors would get.
Yeah.
It's like, what if? And I'm like, hear me out. It's ridiculous, but what if we put Thor on it?
Mhm.
He was like, yeah, we got it.
Yep.
We got to do it.
Yep. Yep. Thor's Hammerhead. That's what a coincidence too. I think it's Shark Week right now, isn't it?
It
So
sure
that's
is.
that's pretty
Sure
timely.
is.
Good. Are you into that at all? Do you watch any of that or?
Yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah.
I have it on in the other room right now. So,
Yep. Just kind of let it roll like through all the old episodes from years ago and stuff. Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big nature guy. So
Yeah.
brother nature sometimes. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I was tuning in a little bit last night, so I'm curious to see what happens next. I know they can get a little repetitive on some of the shows, and same people talking all the time, but still, I think it's just seeing the actual sharks is pretty cool always to me.
yeah, Sarah
Yeah,
was like, why are they showing us like these shark attack shows? And I'm like, well, I think it's to teach you that you should have like a healthy respect of them too, because like
true.
these professionals, like just working with them, and you're like, they're not that bad.
Right, right. It's kind of funny to me though that their message has always been, showing that they're animals and not killers, but then some of the shows have titles that are like
Exactly.
Jaws related or like stalking a town or something. I'm like, guys, you might not want to name it that, but I don't know.
For sure.
Uh, yeah,
Totally agree.
yeah, but no, that's cool to find somebody else that's into the whole nature scene in
Yeah.
our community. That's pretty good. Um, but no, I definitely appreciate the time, Andy. Is there anything specific you want to, share or add, or how people can kind of get in touch and follow what you're up to?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram quite a bit. My handle is Wilderness and Wolf, one word, obviously. And then MorganWolf Press is also on there, although that's a little newer.
Yeah,
Feel free to reach out if you have, people that want to reach out about their stories. Like we're not accepting submissions quite yet,
yeah,
just financially speaking, but
yeah,
I'm excited to connect with people and like read some things. And, we're always looking for people to be, sensitivity readers or, you know, advanced reading.
yeah.
So reach out if you're interested in joining me on this.
Right, definitely. Like I know that I have kind of starts of a book that I'm going to be working on too, so I'm definitely will be in touch and you
Yeah,
know
please.
yeah, like maybe the timing will work out when we're both kind of ready with both ends of it to get it published or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
well, I'll share that with audience and everybody too. And that's a really exciting endeavor. I think that you're starting there. I think it's going to really pay off.
I think so too. I think it's desperately needed. So the plan is to hopefully publish something in October and then open up submissions then.